Letters fly off a spinning globe from the US, UK, and Australia to spell SGK Studios present an Audio Pizza production.
Hello, welcome to March Madness here at Audio Pizza. We're going to be angry and mad about things, or not. We're going to talk a little bit about AI and the cost of applications. Coming up next on Audio Pizza. Hey, Kayaker here. Welcome to another edition of Audio Pizza. I am freezing my butt off in New England in the winter, and, well, at least it's not in the shed, right, Shaun?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm all toasty here, sat on top of my heater. It's lovely.
Very good.
Thank you. We're talking AI, and you're mad about the cost of apps. This is interesting. As ever, Kayaker is the one who's coming up with the topics today, so I have no idea what I'm going to say, but we'll find out. And, of course, someone else with no idea. It's Garth from Australia.
Hey, I want to pull you up one thing, Kayaker, on the March episode. Given that I am now sans job for the first time in 20 years, I might actually have time to get this out before March. So we'll see when this comes out.
Oh, yes. Don't give away the magic, Garth, because we are recording this in February, by the way. Sans job.
Yes.
I am very, very sorry, Garth.
Oh, look, it could have come at better timing, or it could have come at worse timing, actually. Because we are also expecting a bubba, which is extremely exciting, and I did want to go to part-time anyway, just not quite
that part-time.
That's part-time.
Well, when you're expecting a baba part-time, you're never part-time in any part of your life ever again anyway. So
no, that's exactly right.
Well, we got to say congratulations, well done. And also, not only that, you're also a married man now as well.
Well, yes, we actually got married. I don't know, we've sort of been married for quite a while anyway, as far as we've been concerned.
You made it official.
We had our honeymoon in 2022 when we went to see our good friend Brett over in Hawaii. We call that the honeymoon because that's when we put on our wedding rings. And,
we
finally did the actual wedding thing on World Braille Day on the 4th of January, which was complete and utter accidental timing.
No, it wasn't. Don't lie.
It totally
you blinded
was.
it up right to the end. You and Louis. That's beautiful. I actually watched it online. It was very nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to say congratulations, Garth, because that implies that it would be unexpected and unusual for you and Jordy to find happiness. So I expected this, and I think it's wonderful for you too, and I hope you have a great time.
So aren't you? My
look
God,
at that.
He puts it so
He
well.
knows all the right words.
I know.
He knows all the right words. Yeah. No, every day I'm just so thrilled to be in the life I'm in. So it's
gee, like we haven't been able to tell for the last N years, where it's
sickening,
sickly sweet.
Well done.
So yeah, I'll have much more time to spend with Bub when they do come along.
Now what is a bub, by the way?
A baby.
Okay, thank you, because those of us in the United States
are kind of... What did you think they were expecting? Is that something from Amazon? A delivery?
I thought it was a new, tech gadget.
A little puppy. Yeah. We're so used to talking to our dogs that the poor little thing will probably get good dog at times, I'm sure. So.
All right. Excellent news. Glad to hear it. That's good.
But no, there's a few things on the horizon job-wise, and I'm hoping for just some part-time work, just to keep things ticking over.
Teaching Reaper, I'm guessing.
Teaching, there you go. Anybody wanting Reaper lessons?
Yes, me desperately, yes.
Audio sound editing. I mean, after the Christmas edition thing, that was brilliant. And I don't know, a lot of good stuff out there.
He's very good. If you would like his CV, then just email. That's sgk@theblind.ninja.
Anyway, let's move right along.
Well, we did get some feedback from listeners, some on text and some on email. So thanks for sending in your email. And I hate to break the news. I think someone actually took Shaun's advice and got the Arrow router, and it seems to be working out well. So that's fantastic. Oh,
no.
Sorry.
I think you'll think you'll find 2 people got my recommendation of the Amazon Eero router mesh Wi-Fi system, and they're both very, very, very happy about it. Apparently,
and very poor because it costs a fortune. But that's
John. Thank you very much for your email. It's very kind. I like the, we took a gamble because Shaun usually doesn't know what he's talking about, basically. But I'm glad you're happy with it, and thanks for the email.
Yeah, and again, send your feedback, and we'll direct the shows in certain directions based on your feedback. So speaking of feedback,
Right.
I want to jump off with the cost of apps, and the thing that really got me mad in March. Did you see I guess maybe not in Australia, but I know was there in the UK and definitely Canada, that Oko switched from a free app to a subscription model very quickly in just a point update. And I thought that was a little bit of a surprise. I caught the release notes and did not upgrade, so it's still free for me. But I'm wondering what you think. We've seen some of this being attempted earlier with Voice Dream Reader. Initially you bought the package and then they switched to a subscription model. And what do you guys think about developers who switch from either a free to a paid, or paid to a subscription model, or even a free to a subscription model? Do you have any thoughts on that?
No. Next.
Okay.
No. You're comparing apples to oranges here. The Voice Dream Reader debacle, if you like, was where they said that you pay off a one-off lifetime purchase, and that was it. And then went back on that and then said, actually, no, we can't do that. It's going to be a subscription. Yeah. The Oko app, which is an app which helps you use crossings and find crossings, and also has a turn-by-turn mapping element to it now as well. They were free. So they never sort of made any promises. They were free, and they have now said, we need to make this a subscription model. So it's no longer free. I don't think that's the same at all.
No, it's not.
Thank you.
I totally agree with you, Shaun. We can't expect it to continue to be free. Like, all this stuff is not always going to be free. Someone's paying, right?
Someone is paying. So how do these free apps come about? Let's look at the use case of Microsoft Seeing AI. Okay, that's sponsored by Microsoft, right? Or actually, probably the better example is, let's take a look at Microsoft Soundscape. That was a free app. Maybe they couldn't keep supporting it, so what did they do? They posted it up and made it open source, so anyone could pick it up. And we now have a couple of forks on that that are still being actively developed. Some, I think, have some. Do any of them have in-purchase options or donationware or something like that?
Voice Vista does have a optional. It's up to you if you want to donate. I think it's $8. I paid £8 for a year or whatever it was, whenever you like, basically. But I use it virtually every day, so I've got absolutely no problem. And you're right. Yes, I suppose you could argue, well, if you can't afford to maintain your software, then just give it away. But I don't know. I mean, Microsoft is a bit of an outlier in that it's got other revenue streams other than Soundscape, so they don't honestly care if they give that away. But if you're talking about, a bedroom developer even, or just a small team of developers that are putting apps out there, I don't see why they shouldn't be paid for it. I mean, you're a developer yourself, Kayaker. I'm agog. I'm flabbergasted at your point of view.
But I was a developer back when you paid for the software upfront. You provided updates occasionally. And if there's a big enough change, you increased the point release and reissued it with a new price point. And that's the way it worked for a long time.
$300.
Yeah. Well, not even $300, but you paid $40 for the app, and maybe a couple of years later, enough features got added or things changed enough, and you say, okay, we're not doing free updates anymore. You got to buy the next increment version, and it's another $40. But
oh, come on. There wasn't too much software that was like that. Most decent software was hugely expensive. Then the App Store came along. Everyone got used to paying $2 for apps. And now anything more than that is like daylight robbery as far as the
And I'm
are
sorry,
concerned.
every time you brought out a new release with new features and said, actually, this release is going to cost you, another purchase cost, everyone lost their mind again. So
They
it
did,
wasn't no
but-
different back in
Yeah,
back
no,
in
it
the
was
day.
different because the prior version still worked, and you could stop at that point. There's this misconception that software needs to be constantly updated and fixed. Good software will do its job and work, and you don't need to update it. I have software that's running on my Mac that hasn't been updated in decades, and it functions perfectly well.
What OS is that Mac running?
No, I'm running the latest, it's running under emulation from Intel code, but, some software does work well without too many updates. And if you want a good mainstream product that I can point to, look at SpinRite. Hasn't been updated in decades, and it still does its thing. It's just finally being updated now, and they're charging for it. But, it worked for years because it did what it was supposed to do, fixed your hard drive, and boom,
There's a lot more software now, I think, that is reliant on, ongoing costs through infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, where the developers are paying constantly for resources. And in that sort of situation, I think it's completely fair that if you want to use the service, there's a ongoing subscription model. Now, with most stuff, there's various versions of a particular thing. And if you are not comfortable with the price point that for the value, basically, it comes down to value, doesn't it? This thing is really useful to me. I'm prepared to pay for it. I don't really get that much use out of this. They want to put their prices up to that point. I'm not going to pay for it anymore. I'll find another version that's free or cheaper or whatever.
Well, I think that's one of the problems with an app like Oko is that some people use it a lot because they might live in a city. Other people use it less frequently. So you're charging the same price, which in my opinion is a bit high. What is it, $40 a year for the subscription for that, Shaun? Do I have that right?
I
US?
think so, yes. I thought it was
thereabouts.
very, very reasonable.
As you guys said, I don't believe it's available here in Australia. I'll have to double check that one. But if it's something that gives you a lot of utility, like you get a lot of use out of it, it's really, really useful, then $40 a year does not sound expensive to me. It's less than $1 a week to make your road crossing safer. I think maybe you don't have a coffee every month, and you've got there. You cut out one takeaway coffee each month, and you're fine.
So now you're going to pay $1 for the stair detector and $1 for the escalator detector in a week, and it just keeps adding up. The
It all
subscription
mounts
stuff.
up. Yes,
The subscriptions do add up.
It
and,
adds
and
up.
I've gone through, at the moment, I'm as at the beginning of the thing, I'm currently without work. So I've gone through and I've cut a few subscriptions of things that I used to think were worth paying for. Actually, I haven't been using that thing for a long time. Turn it off.
It's gone. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Look, is this just coming down to the thing of no one likes a subscription model? We'd all
Maybe it
rather
is.
have a
Yeah.
one-time
Yep, I
one-off
think that's
fee.
Of
true.
course we would.
Yeah.
Do we need to bring into the argument, the old, specialized hardware argument of this is a small market? If you want software to be updated, to be maintained, even though Kayaker says you don't need to, but let's just say you want regular updates, then a one-off fee in our community wouldn't work.
Why wouldn't that work?
What I'm saying, there's a saturation point in the blind community, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, where you reach a certain number of sales and that's it. There is no growth that's going to happen because you've reached the maximum number of people who's going to use your app.
Yeah. I think I'd love to see the numbers and how many people are actually paying for the subscription and how much the usage has dropped off. I think the value added for some people, for some apps, doesn't push it across the threshold to purchase it. It's a convenience rather than necessity. It's a bonus. And I feel sad that this type of app in the current version up to the point where they started charging for it still work great. Why are they updating it? How many times have we seen Uber update or Amazon shopping app update and bug fixes and behind the scenes performance stuff? It's like, have you ever noticed anything that made a difference in those types of apps?
Yes, the latest Amazon is absolutely awful because they've made it AI powered and totally ruined it. Yeah, okay, but I suppose you got to take it case by case. In this case, they are going round because it's not available in every country, because the crossing systems in every country is different. And in order to add this to the AI to make it recognizable and usable, they've actually got to go out there, and they employ people to go out there and take, hundreds of photos and video of various different crossings in different areas in different countries. So there is an ongoing cost that I recognize with this. So that does need something. And as Garth said, with a lot of apps now, they're all run on the cloud, AWS or whatever it may be. So they're running with cloud services. Everything now is AI powered, which costs money. So there is a ongoing monthly cost where the developers are almost paying subscriptions to even get their app running in the first place.
I don't think Oko needs any data connection to a cloud to run. I think it runs locally on your phone. It's real-time street crossing.
No, yeah, you're right. But what I'm saying is Oko have got that ongoing cost of actually updating their data model for the crossings, right? Because they use AI to recognize the crossing and, when it's safe to walk and whatever. So they've got that ongoing cost. Because that takes time, that takes resources, that takes either employing someone or the developers themselves going out there and getting that information about what crossing is, the crossing set up in different countries. So that's their
Plus,
cost.
they're just people who need to live themselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's without even, I mean, just think now.
Well, you're not sure how the funding happened originally, right? They could have gotten a grant or they could have gotten some other funding from a charity.
Well, maybe they did.
That paid for this. Okay, but so... Okay, project done, put it down, move on. It's like I've had projects like that were funded for 3 years. We built the
it's
app.
not
We
done.
made it.
Well, they mightn't want it to be done. They might okay.
I haven't got it in the UK. I would like to.
I haven't got it.
I'd like to try it, but they haven't managed to get the crossing sorted here yet. So
it works for me in America now. So why do I have to upgrade?
Forget
and do
everyone
the subscription? Yeah. Well, no, but that's a different case. If you want to expand to different markets, then and your business model doesn't support it, then get a grant from the UK to add the data.
Well, because I'm not going to subscribe to it
business model
when I can't use it. So I'm sorry, you guys that have had it for free are now having to pay for it in order so I can try it and then add to the subscription as well, and maybe it'll go back. I mean, we interviewed on Double Tap the guys from Oko, and we actually played the clip of him saying, "I'm hoping this can stay free forever," or I'm paraphrasing something along those lines. They didn't want to do it, and they were very genuine about that. So I know it's something they really didn't want to do, but obviously they were forced to do it.
Too bad. But they're not going to get any money from me because it's not worth it to me because I can cross streets with my cane and doing all the other stuff.
But that's absolutely fine, of course.
It's
I know.
a choice.
But my point is, it's sad that they had this app that worked. They did the work, and now they can't give it to people who don't feel it's worth
got
the
it
cost.
for free?
Or well, no, I don't have. In theory,
You
I
didn't
can't
invest in it.
No, someone did. Someone funded them to do
did.
this initial development. So do I have to pay again for the stuff they already did for my country?
Well, you haven't paid the first time. What are you talking about? You got
Someone
it for free.
did.
You got it for free, then you refused to update to go to the subscription model so you can continue using it for free. Basically, you're a thief, sir.
No,
You're
there's
stealing
nothing
it.
that says I have to update. How did I become the bad guy? See, I am mad now. I am mad in March. Yep.
I can't be bothered managing my app store. What am I going to update and what am I not going to update? I just have it all on auto and hang the
so do I.
consequences.
Yeah, I'll deal with it
You know-
when it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who's been burnt too many times with app updates breaking critical apps, I always go one by one because I can't risk it breaking. And how many times have we had an app that worked fine, next update, kapoof?
I haven't been burnt very often that
It does happen. And look, yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, common sense. If you're being sensible, you would turn that off and go through one. I just, whatever. I'll take the chance. But you're absolutely right. You don't want to get burnt on this. This subscription model, though, it's not just something. I mean, it affects everyone, right? It affects the mainstream as well. There's a lot of talk now, about the consumer rights. There's so many different ones. I watched a Louis Rossmann video recently, and he's so into this. He fought hard for the right to repair bill in the US. And he's been talking about these companies that basically they redefine words. So Lifetime, and he read the T's and C's out on this particular company. I can't remember who it was now. Lifetime, if you read the T's and C's, means up to a maximum of 5 years, or until the software is no longer supported on that particular platform. So,
right.
And purchase doesn't mean ownership. Purchase is a license to use the app. So, the companies are being sort of almost fast and loose when it comes to commonly well-known uses of words anyway. So it is affecting a lot of people, and so many things are moving to subscription models, and not just software, hardware as well. HP printers where you can't scan if you use a different ink supplier other than HP, and the Bamboo 3D printers where you can only use their portal and you can't use any third-party 3D printing software. Everyone's trying to lock you into their system. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but also I agree with you, Kayaker, in that when I look at my Disney Plus and my Netflix and my Amazon and my whatever else streaming services, and you think, okay, I don't think I want to cut the cable anymore. I want to go back to the cable company just force feeding me whatever and just opening my wallet just because it's easier. Are we ever going to be happy? If we don't get it for free, I don't think we're ever happy.
Pretty much.
Thank you.
But and look, to talk about like the HP model, well, the printer model in general, it was always a thing where we'll give you the device, the printer for in some cases below cost, and then the way we're going to make money on it is by selling you the ink. And then people go and get their ink from somewhere else, and they've lost their revenue again.
Well, that was the Polaroid camera model, even way back when. Give the camera away for free, and people buy the film. That's where the expense was, yeah.
It's Amazon's hardware selling points. They sell their hardware at cost, make up on their services. Google, I mean, yeah, it's a well-known business model. But there's something, I don't know. I think everyone's got a sense of fair play, right? And I just think when it comes to ink especially, it just reeks of price gouging. So I don't know if I totally agree with that. And also, the thing I don't like that we're seeing quite a lot of is you buying something hardware-wise, and then suddenly it's not usable anymore because the company changes the terms. What's
Sonos?
Sonos. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's just it doesn't seem fair. I'm sorry. It seems really difficult to actually own anything anymore.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot more problems as a lot of the smart home gadgets. Those companies sort of disappear and they don't sell anymore, and all these home switches and lights are just going to stop working because they often rely on that company maintaining a server. We've seen a couple of home service smart companies go out of business, and their products are dead because they depend on that service and
on an ongoing cost.
Yeah. It is, but that's
true. And 95% of the smart home devices out there rely on calling home somehow. So it's definitely. And of course, what about the not sort of the same, but the Bionic Eye company? Who was that? Iris Vision?
Jeez. Yes.
Who just went bankrupt, and that's it. Sorry, guys. I mean, absolutely disgusting.
Eyes don't
right?
work anymore.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Consumer rights, that's the way to go. Check out Louis Rossmann on YouTube. It's so important, even though a government department about consumer finances has suddenly disappeared or about to.
Yes, well, that's part of the
politics.
Madness.
Carry on.
As long as, in any of these situations, including the old printer one, right? As long as you're going into the use of a product or the purchase of an app with your eyes open and, there's transparency, then I don't think we've got too much to complain about.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. Yeah. It's when the terms change after you've purchased it. That doesn't seem fair. But yeah, I think you're right.
And that's where like the voice stream one really, they sold it to another company and they found out that they needed to make money a different way. And yeah, that really was frustrating.
Yeah.
And means now I don't use voice stream anymore. I use Book Reader, which I like better. So
you weren't grandfathered.
Totally free.
Were you grandfathered in? Because if you,
I think so, but I just don't tend to use the app anymore anyway.
Okay. Actually, VoiceStream did do one thing finally that I was begging Winston to add. was the that now supports
M4B?
M4B. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, was that you being mad there, Kayaker? That was very timid of you, I must say. Come on, let rip, sir.
Yeah, I'm not the cranky guy and the old guy on 60 Minutes yet. Whatever. Andy. Although.
You actually said, I'm going to let the listeners in, you actually said before we started recording, I heard you and Stephen talking about it on Double Tap, and I was so enraged I was shouting at you two. I think that was the exact words.
Well, I was. You guys are definitely both wrong. I think it's wrong for a company to suddenly charge for a product. If they want to pay, a one-time fee, great. I'm happy to do that. But for something that's so insignificant, and please don't bash me about it.
Insignificant.
Yes, it's a one little feature app. Go, no-go, street crossing. It's not that complicated of a problem. It really isn't in the AI world. It's
okay,
not.
Well,
it's not.
It's now got mapping in there as well, hasn't it?
Well, I don't want the mapping. I just wanted the simple street crossing yesterday. That's all I need. Mapping.
Now, lucky you've got a cane and
if they wanted to spin it off, and add mapping and make that a new product and charge for a subscription, great. But just give me the tool that I wanted. It worked great. It still works great. And thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm not paying for it. Honestly, entitled much. Oh, it's disgusting. Can I say, I was looking into the stats behind
so let me,
right? Go on.
Carry on. Do you have the stats? Do you have the stats for Oko?
No. Well, it depends what we're going to talk about. But I was saying, here in the UK, I would say, I'll probably get emails for this, but I'm going to say the majority of crossings either have a rotating, I'm going to use the word nipple, rotating.
No, it's a cone. It's a cone.
Yeah, but I want to say nipple.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, it has a rotator.
I haven't seen too many nipples that look like that.
It's more like an ice cream, although Madonna, one of her music videos maybe, but yeah, okay.
All right, stop it. The majority of crossings will have either a rotator or where they have an audible beep, 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 when it's safe to cross, right? And I thought, well, they're pretty accessible. That's good. Now, obviously, actually finding them in amongst the sea of street furniture can be different, and not veering off when you're halfway across and walking into that railing on the other side of the road can be difficult. But aside from that, so I from that point of view, I could kind of agree with you, Kayaker, because it's something that actually knowing when it's safe to cross at a crossing isn't a big issue for me. Again, I will caveat that not everyone, not 100% of the crossings are like that. There are, of course, ones which are inaccessible. But the stat I was going to mention was that, like, they gave the example of New York, where there was, I don't know, but the number of crossings that actually had an audible or a rotator were absolutely minuscule. I'm talking virtually none when you compare it to the percentage of the actual overall crossings in somewhere like New York. So, depending on what country you're in, this could actually be a massive part of your day. So an app, like I use VoiceVist every day, I can see people using this absolutely every day in order to to do their daily commute or whatever they need to do.
Let me ask you this. Let's pretend there's 1,000 users that use the app right now. Okay, so it's impacting 1,000 people, and some people depend on it. Some people use it as a backup check, but they've got 1,000 downloads. What I want to know is how many of those 1,000 are then going to pay the subscription? I'd be really curious to know that number. And at what point do you think to myself, well, hey, we had 1,000 people using this app, maybe not every day, but occasionally. They're 1,000 active users. And now all of a sudden we're down to 50 active users that are paying for the subscription. So is there any guilt value for not providing? Yeah, so they've lost so many people. They're allowing a few elite people to purchase it who need it. And what's the number that would say, okay, maybe they should be a free version that just works as is and just end of life it and then move on with more advanced features for other countries and other features like the crossings and stuff. Like, at what point can you justify, losing the people who would like to have the app and use it, but who won't pay the subscription, which I'm in that camp.
Or can't, you mean?
Yeah, or can't. Or
I don't care about the people who won't, but the people who can't. Sorry, Kai.
Well, I'd love to have, fancy scotch and wine every night, but I choose not to spend it on it. I might be able to do it, but
why
it's
don't you
not
just steal
something.
it? like you are doing with Oko.
Well, I will go to free tastings at the breweries. Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Well, the question is, look, if they haven't got any more investment or any more resources, right, and they're saying, okay, maybe it's a business gamble, if we can get an ongoing revenue stream here, then we can try to grow the app and gather more customers. That 1,000 is because we're only available in certain countries. If we can grow to get the app to work in Australia or the UK, for example, we may, expand our user base tenfold or whatever it may be. And maybe then they can look at either lowering the subscriptions, which won't happen, I know, but or even rolling back to free again. That won't happen either. But I'm just saying, this is a business. If we did an app, if the three of us did an Audio Pizza app, you're damn right I'm going to charge for it. So, people need to earn a wage. I think this App Store and 99 cents or free model really killed development.
It totally changed the mentality of consumers, didn't it?
Actually, that's a good example. If we started charging for Audio Pizza, how many listeners would we have? We would go from, to nothing, because it's
3 to 1.
Exactly.
And I'm not paying.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's almost a good example. There is some type of volunteer or charity that's out there. We do this because we like it. We want to spread knowledge.
Yeah, but the difference is there's no cost.
It's our choice to do that.
Yeah. Well, what's the cost in this? Well, actually, Garth covers it. We just ignore it. But you haven't cut that off yet, have you?
No.
That was the final episode. You know what?
I did consolidate the number of Libsyn accounts I had, though.
I was going to actually, Kayaker, we need to put our fingers out and actually contribute to that now.
Yeah, we probably should. We probably should. I'm happy to do that.
Yes, we will. We'll sort that out, Garth.
Yep.
Let's cut this part out. Actually, no, let's put this front and center at the top. I'll just put it back into the feed each month. We could do what all the other... Kayaker, your model of leave this bit free, and if you want to spin out new parts, then you have a new business model for that. And that's what we've seen with so many podcasts. You get the most of the podcast for free, but we'll do an extra if you want to support us with financially through Patreon or through whatever means you like. There's added value. There's special content that you can get.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I will go with that.
That with your Oko thing, Kayaker, I think that's give what you have now for free, and then the added stuff, all the added stuff, that becomes a new business model. That would have been a great way to do it if they could have done that, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I'd go with that. I agree. Yeah, you're right.
But Shaun, you pointed out that if they wanted to expand to other countries, they might expand their user bases. But for every country that they go into, there's a huge cost per country. So, it's not like you're taking the same product and shipping to different countries. They have to do a completely new, development system for that. So that's not going to help them break even, I don't think, by expanding their user base. You still have that same distribution of people that won't pay for it, can't afford it, and then those that will use it. And I just think that those who will use it and pay for it is a small percentage of the total people that it could impact. And that makes me sad and mad.
Well, you know what? We'll wait and see what happens.
We will.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not very optimistic. I think that the amount of revenue that they hope to gain with the subscription model, I just don't think there's enough blind people out there that will keep the lights on for them.
Well, I hope there is.
Well, what do you think about Ira?
Well, I think Ira's overpriced. I stopped subscribing to it. I wish they would use, I wouldn't mind paying for Ira if it was buy the minutes up front, keep your minutes, and,
Yep.
pay for what you use. That's my problem. And that's probably the same reason why I wouldn't pay for Oko, because I'd rather pay per crossing. I'd rather pay a penny per crossing because I don't use it that much. I don't always have traffic lights in a situation where I don't know where it is. How would you
factor that into development? How would you actually make that work practically from a technical point of view?
I'm just saying that,
I'm sure they could do it.
No, actually, they could. Yes, fire it off every AI.
Like games in the app, you buy diamonds or whatever the bloody game wants you to buy.
Night
Yeah,
Manager.
tokens.
Hooray!
All right.
All right, well, talking of AI,
So speaking of AI, DeepSeek, a Chinese AI company that's been around for a while, recently ripped up the world by releasing a model that's pretty competitive to OpenAI's top-notch model, but they did it with limited hardware and lower costs, which has really disrupted the stock markets for a lot of companies and sort of has turned the AI world on edge with this new stuff. And there is an app that's available on the App Store for iOS. It is another language model and performs a lot of the same tasks, but the advantage is they're taking a different strategy with their development, making it sort of more modular in a way, not one big super chatbot, but sort of multiple layers and sort of distributing the stuff and trying to use a different technique. I'd almost say it's the type of things we did back in the day when we were trying to run stuff in less memory. You know, we had to write programs that had to fit in 64K or 128K or all that stuff. And they
All right,
did a very
Grandad.
interesting...
you tell us about your IRQ
Yeah.
conflicts next.
Anyway. all right.
Config.6.
You got it. But it does well in a lot of the tests, and it's sort of gives me hope that in the future we're going to have smaller models, faster models that can be trained in very specific areas that can be customized for things that we want to do in the blind community, which brings me to our specialized AI apps that we use every day. And I want to talk a little bit about what we use in the AI world and what you guys use.
Personally, I'm still just using ChatGPT for most stuff. Be My Eyes, the AI there. I use the one in Ira. I still do have an Ira subscription. And the feature I like in there is you can upload multiple photos and ask it, I don't know, if you're I bet there's a lot of blindies like me out there taking photos, and you're trying to take a photo of something, you don't know which one's right. So you take about 4 or 5 of the same thing, hoping that at least one of them will have come out well, and then you've got to go and find a pair of eyeballs to tell you which is the one you should keep. Well, you know, with Ira, there you can upload all 5 of them and ask, okay, tell me about these 5 photos, which is the best one? And it'll say, okay, 3 people are looking at you in this one, and only 2 people are looking at you in that one. The person's foot is cut off, or whatever it is. You know, it'll give you quite a good description, enough to be able to go, okay, this is probably the one I should keep. So I really, like that particular feature of Ira.
I should say, Be My Eyes has just had an update. Again, we're recording this in February, where you can save your photos now to the camera roll.
Yes.
And yes, obviously you could do the same thing, right? You could get a description of your photo. If it's a good one, you can save it to your camera roll. So that's the thing in Be My Eyes now as well.
So you can upload a stack of photos as in the one.
I'm just, that's the only thing. I deliberately didn't say a stack of photos because I'm not entirely sure yet. But I just know you can now save them to your camera roll, which you couldn't do before, I believe.
Okay.
Well, that's the point. What do we use AI for?
Yeah, I was going to say, what problems do we solve with AI?
Because I don't care. I could care less about writing tools. I could care less about image generation.
Yeah, I could care less about image generation.
So what are we using, you say in the blind community, what are we using it for? Of course, it's image description. And right now, we're using now, but we want more from it, is the live video feed description.
Mm-hmm. Our wedding, I used AI Studio to edit the video in Reaper. So in Reaper, you can edit video as well. The only video we had was the Zoom video. So the audio, Zoom just killed the audio, of course. So I grabbed some quick recordings that we did on our watches of the wedding, put that with the video. I could line up the audio because I still had the Zoom audio, so I could line it all up.
Yeah.
But has it worked? I don't know. Is it rendered out, and can you see the people and so forth, right? AI Studio, getting it to watch what I was doing in Reaper and telling me Like I knew I'd put photos in there. Okay, I'm paused here. What can you see now? Cool, that's the photo I want you to be able to see.
That is actually
really cool.
Really, really cool,
So-
Garth.
Yeah, it was. It felt great to be able to do that.
And it's so responsive. When we're saying AI Studio, we're talking about Google Gemini here. Yeah.
So if you go to YouTube and search for Geordie and Garth's wedding, you'll probably find it.
I thought it was top secret. I thought it was private.
Oh, well, I accidentally released it publicly.
Ah, right. Okay. That's Garth and
Who cares?
Geordie's
Doesn't
wedding.
really-
Search for it. It's,
The other way around, I think, Geordie and Garth.
of course, Geordie comes first. It's very nice, by the way.
Absolutely.
Were the guide dogs the ring bearers?
The guide dogs were the ring bearers, yeah.
Oh, you got to watch it just for that, surely.
My youngest son bought them out and, and they had little pouches in their collars that carried the rings.
It
Is
was
there an audio
beautiful.
description version, Garth?
There's no audio description.
Oh,
maybe-
half a job.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
To do.
Okay, I'll make a phone call. We'll see what we can do. Our rates have
No,
gone
but
up, I hear, but
That's a fantastic use for it, right? I've used AI Studio myself, and I in some cases, I've used it instead of Seeing AI. Seeing AI is my go-to for identifying things. Reading cans, reading, packets in the fridge or whatever, or even reading, bits of paper I find on the side, because all I need is the odd key word, and so that's that, right? So
Okay, I know what that is now.
yeah. And the short text feature is absolutely amazing for that. By the way, Seeing AI has been updated and they've redesigned the interface, and it's much better now. All those in the Read tab, you only have 3 tabs now: Read, Describe, and More. In the Read tab, you have the short text and the document scanning all in one place. No need to change channels. If you're doing short text scanning in real time and you say, actually, I want more accurate OCR, you can just hit the take a picture, and it does the document.
So much better.
It just makes so much sense. But where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So I found now that, say, for example, I may have used Be My Eyes to go through my wardrobe to find out what's written on this T-shirt, make sure it's not offensive to anyone, because my kids have a habit of buying me really offensive T-shirts and hiding them in my wardrobe.
Blame your kids.
Yeah, okay. But, just going the way I'm doing it at the minute, I believe the actual official Google Gemini app for iOS has the live video function, but I've got the website saved.
I've just been doing the website. Yeah,
I've got the
I didn't even realize I didn't look.
I've got the website aistudio.google.com/live, I believe, something. Anyway, I've got that saved on my home screen. So I just open that up and I'm just flicking through my T-shirts and just saying, hey, what's on this one? What's on this one? I don't know what it is, but it's just so responsive. It's just like having someone stood right next to you being able to help you. So it is really cool.
Can I go from the sublime to the ridiculous with use cases?
Yes.
So ChatGPT, I've currently got, and it probably won't last much longer, the subscription to the full thing to get the live video feed.
$200?
No, not that one. The one down from there.
$20.
The $20, which is about $34 Australian. So got this massive bag of jelly beans, and I love the black ones. So I was using it to help me find the black ones.
That's worth $20 a month. Are you listening, Oko? Put a jelly bean identifier in there. Garth's in. Yeah, no, it's very cool. It's almost finding the best ways to use this technology now. Have you got live video on the Meta Ray-Bans in Australia?
No. Not last time I checked anyway.
No, we don't in the UK. You do in the old US
I do,
of
yes.
A.
Yep. And, the thing that I miss, and I think this is the next step, is that, as you said, you still have to ask the question repeatedly. What I wanted, the holy grail for me is going to say, let me know when you see the Amazon package that I'm looking for, rather than, do you see a package? Do you see a package? How about now? Do you see a package? It remembers the context, but I want it to remember the question and keep looking as it, processes images until it, reaches the
Doesn't seem like a
condition.
very big step.
I
does it?
know, we're so close. We're so
Of
close.
all the things that it's doing, like that's got to be the minimum, the last little tiny
But
step.
it doesn't
surely.
work like that right now.
No.
I
I don't think any of them do.
I've got to say, look, apart from what we've just discussed there about image and video description, I still love AI just for asking questions. It has taken over from my Lady A smart speaker. For most things, anyway. For example, someone was asking me about how you send a scheduled iMessage the other day. And I've got ChatGPT mapped to my action button on my iPhone.
Yep.
And it was so easy. I will say as well, though, I also asked Lady S, and she gave me a step-by-step guide as well. It was the first time I thought, actually, that's quite interesting. Instead,
you should know how to do that.
Well, she should. It's an Apple model, and yeah,
it's only a new thing though that can.
Yeah,
that,
but I mean, I use AI for. I think the voice conversation is fantastic. I love it in Windows Copilot, although it's just been updated and I'm struggling with it a little bit to get it to work. But I think Copilot is fantastic. I'm struggling to distinguish between them. Google Gemini, ChatGPT, I mean, they're all very good. The Meta Ray-Ban AI, is very restrictive. I don't think it's that great as it is, especially here in the UK. We don't have the look and tell, so I can't get image descriptions anyway. So, but I don't know. It always feels like we're just on the cusp of something, game-changing with AI.
Well, what you were saying about general questions is the same thing. We so many questions about pregnancy at the moment.
Yeah.
And just getting it to explain various medical things.
Yeah.
It's so good. I'm using Perplexity a lot, which is a service/app that our friend Brett got me onto. Love that for, instead of Googling stuff, just putting it into Perplexity.
Really? I never got into Perplexity. I know people absolutely love it. I just really didn't. What's so cool about it?
The app is still a bit finicky. It's not great accessibility.
Oh, have you used ChatGPT lately? I mean, it's absolute garbage. Sorry, AI apps in general, I think these should be showing the way when it comes to accessibility, and they're all slightly dodge. Copilot especially.
The one thing that I have not, and I've had trouble with on the website, on the Windows, on the Windows.
Yes.
The Mac Windows versions of ChatGPT's official app and the web interface, getting it to download a file that it's created for you. So, you can upload a CV, for example, and ask it questions about, and I go, make that change. And it'll give you this download link, which I can never get to.
Really? You know what? I didn't even know it did that. So it can actually create a file rather than just spitting out text for you.
Yeah.
Never used it.
It seems to.
Okay. Yes, it may do.
It may do. It says it's doing it, and I can see sometimes there's a button there that is called the document name, but I've never been able to, on any of the platforms, get that file downloaded. I got it to look at the Audio Pizza artwork at one stage, and it recommended all these changes, and I said, well, can you make those changes? Yep, it'll make those changes. It'll, fix up the colouring and whatever it did. Here's a link to download the file. Nope, I can't download it.
Oh, no, we're missing out on... Well, we don't care. Okay.
No.
I want to quickly go back.
It's really frustrating, though.
What?
So if there's anyone out there who knows how to download the bloody files that ChatGPT creates, let me know.
All right, calm down, love.
Did you try asking ChatGPT to download the file?
Yes, I did. And I actually did do that. And it said at one point it goes, yes, I can understand it's a bit difficult to do it.
Oh, don't
Here's the
patronise
text.
me.
I'll give you the text. Great.
Oh, that's better than nothing. But let's circle back a minute to DeepSeek. I haven't used it. I just heard, I just assumed it would be overwhelmed and just be out of service for the longest time. So I haven't used it. What makes this so good? Again, the claims that this cost, $6 million was put together very, very quickly. These are all claims. Has this been proven? We don't know this is true, right?
No, but what we do know is there is now a model that you can download open source. Here's the code that you can run yourself.
Yes, that's true. And people are running it locally. That's right. I saw a post from Martin van der Speck from Pickeybot saying he's now running DeepSeek on his local machine, and you can choose it as a model, I believe. So he says it's the performance isn't anything stellar compared to the rest, but the fact that he can run the model locally and make changes to tune it, especially for us, he's very excited about. I totally get that.
There you go.
The effect that it had on the market, there's no denying that it's had huge effect on the other AI services out there. So I'm not sure. I am a little bit cautious though about using this.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, definitely. And hadn't got around to playing with it myself yet either.
Well, the other thing as well, when it was first released, was that there was no voice chat. And I hate typing text unless I'm in front of my computer on the full screen keyboard. I'm not going to be using an on-screen keyboard to type my questions. If I can't have a voice conversation with DeepSeek, I'm not going to use it yet. But apparently they did release a multimodal model pretty quickly afterwards. I didn't know if that did include live conversation though.
We will have a play.
One thing I do know about what DeepSeek did is they sort of changed things over a bit because there are restrictions on the amount of hardware that they can run. Like you can't get the top end graphics cards in China because of export restrictions. I think they're considered security risks.
That was the whole point. Yeah.
But one of the things that they did, and this is sort of in their white paper about how they did the models, that they made some compromises. They said, okay, we don't need a 32-bit number for defining every value. We can let's cut that in half. Make it 8 bits, make it 16 bits. Reduce the precisionness of it. And I think another thing that they did, if I read that correctly, was that instead of having a token for every syllable or phrase that's spoken, they sort of processed it in clumps of phrases. So they'd use partial phrases that included full words and multiple words to help, do things like that. So there's a lot of clever tricks that they did to build this model in a different way. They took a little different approach with using the equipment that they had, which is a hard computer science problem. So it was fun to read that. I
think in so many fields, this sort of notion of resource constraint changes how things are. It often leads to great innovation or leads to new artwork or whatever. It sparks creativity in a different way, having resource constraints.
Yeah,
absolutely.
140 characters, for example.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone benefited from that one.
Well, it's interesting.
That brought us Twitter.
No, you're absolutely right. So, because of the what's the word I'm looking for, where they couldn't get the hardware
import restrictions
into China. So, I mean, that forces their hand to find other ways around to run on lower spec hardware. But it was interesting timing as well, because it came a few days after the Stargate announcement, where $500 billion was going to be invested into AI, where all these data centers were going to be, given the fast track through, and, all the energy structure was going to be put in place. And then this, we can do it with, 27% of the power or processing power needed, 27% of the energy needed that you need. And then, was it $600 billion got knocked off NVIDIA stock prices?
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that did have an effect. But, I mean, it is good news. If this is truly as efficient as the claims are, and I've got no reason to doubt it at the minute from people that have tried this out, this is good news for everyone, because it means that you don't need this huge amount of energy to be powering AI.
Absolutely. Do either of you guys use an AI tool for navigation in any way, like in new environments, either out on the street, in a grocery store, hotel, restaurant, anything that's not, OCR or, product finding?
I suppose AI Studio was the first thing because I can just dip my phone in my jacket pocket, chest pocket, with the camera pointing out, because it's just the right size that the camera just peeks over the
top,
sticks out the top. And again, just being able to, when it's paired with some Bluetooth headphones, what's in front of me, describe what's in front of me, and getting that response quick is nice. But other than that, what do I use? I don't know. For my mobility needs, what I use at the minute is Voice Vista. Just keeps me on track. Means that I can lapse in concentration, can daydream for a minute and then snap back and go, oh, have I passed that intersection yet and know where I am? I use Voice Vista. I use Be My Eyes quite a lot now through the Ray-Bans, just because it's so easy to do when I'm walking down the street and I think, I know there's, it's the school run. There's going to be 1,000 cars parked on the pavement here. Just quickly, hey, Be My Eyes, and get someone to guide me through. It's an absolute joy. But when it comes to AI, no, not really. I don't think so. Do you?
Garth?
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah.
I guess the only time I use it is scene description. Sometimes in a hotel lobby, I'll try to get a lay of the land.
But isn't it awful always?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It is.
Has it been useful? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Don't bother then.
Well, and the other thing that I will do you guys use either the door detection that's built into iOS or...
Oh, yes, I have used that a few times.
Yeah.
To find toilets. That I know there's toilets.
You know what the trouble with that is? I always forget about it. It's and I think it's actually really interesting. The furniture that I think we talked about on here, I didn't know was there.
Yeah, so have you added that to your rotor, and got it right there for fast access?
You can also do a 4-finger triple tap, which takes you directly to there as well. I just think hiding it away in the magnifier just seems really odd to me. But
it is.
And it's still a little bit clunky. It seems a little bit slow in responding. Maybe I'm expecting too much. But I don't know why I don't use that more. But if I was stood outside somewhere new, sometimes you get an appointment to go somewhere, and I would definitely use door detection because it works amazingly well.
And believe it or not, I still use Seeing AI short text detection in hotels or in an airport just to read numbers. Like it's really good just walking down the hall and reading door numbers. It just dunk, dunk, dunk.
Yeah.
Very fast. Same thing with gates in airports and other signage in hotels. Sometimes you can get lucky. Even in just malls or outdoor spaces, it's surprisingly good.
It is.
We were talking about Ira earlier and AI. They've got this thing now where, how they used to have the 5 minutes free every couple of hours and then it went to every day.
Yeah.
They now have a 10 minutes free every half an hour if you are happy to allow that video to be used to train AI.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very cool.
So it is very cool. I've just got the cheapest plan you can have, and the service, I can't think of the name of it at the moment, isn't always available. If they've got high demand, they switch it off. But normally, most of the time when I go to use it, I can use that 10 minutes free. And it's every half hour. So it's fantastic.
That's really
nice. So as long
nice.
as you're not doing anything that's, you're not going to do it with your credit card when you're getting them to, read out your new credit card number or, there's various things.
Will they warn you about that, though? The agent?
Yep. They will say, are you happy to apply it? And you go, yep. But if you stray into something that you don't want to be used to train the AI, you've got 72 hours where you can go in and go, actually, this one, no. Take that one
that's
out.
quite cool. And is this 10 minutes every half hour available if you're on the free, if you're not paying for it? If you say, hey,
I'm not sure.
You can use my videos, give me 10 minutes for free, and I'm not subscribing. That seems very generous if they're doing that. But
it does, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Be My Eyes are doing the same thing where they're allowing the video to be used to train AI. You have to optionally go into that too, I think, don't you?
Yep.
So I'm hoping that, over time, these models will be updated with more relevant descriptions for us. It's so cool.
It's a promising future, and I think this year is going to be an interesting...
The future's so bright, we got to wear shades. Thank you.
But remember Kayaker's prediction. Was it Kayaker's prediction or Shaun's?
No, it was mine.
We will not get the glasses we want this year.
We'll not get the glasses we want.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Now, Kayaker, you mentioned in the last episode that you had a surprise for the listeners.
I did.
Shaun and I didn't know what we were talking about.
I still don't.
We still don't really know
you kind of do now.
About. So,
all right. So I
will
spill the beans. We've gotten such a good response from the little Scrooge spoof radio drama play that we did for Christmas that I think we're going to try to expand that in sort of a mystery or science fiction area. We'll see what the final script comes up, where we can make it into a radio serial. So each month you might be getting an episode of an ongoing story.
Something.
Of an ongoing story. So you had so much fun editing, and I think we've got enough support.
Yeah.
But hopefully Bubba won't change things. But
There'll just be a new cast member.
yeah, we'll do cast
Someone
member.
crying in the background.
But
I won't have to get the pretend Bubba that I put in the last one.
So if you think old school radio dramas or the movie serials where they have a little, prequel before the main feature that, make you come back week after week, well, we might give that a shot month after month. So if I get my act together, maybe next month or the following month, we might have some...
After month. Unbelievable. If you
Don't hold your breath, people.
Yeah,
Don't hold your breath. But, so now that it's
Look,
out there, it has to be done. So
it
that's
does.
the type of pressure that we need. We need this live pressure. So
oh, yeah.
if
We
you
love
have any
pressure.
ideas or if you think you're going to be a good voice, let us know because we'll
Let us know,
lots of parts.
This is something I've wanted to do for the longest time. So,
I just
I'm
say
excited.
I don't, but hey, I'm part of the gang, so it's going to happen. That's very
Don't
cool.
worry, we won't make you the one that has to do the most lines this time.
Thank you. Thank you. The worst actor. Thank you.
You did so well.
You did-
What are you talking about?
I think it was
You
great.
did so well. You did great.
That's all I was fishing for. Thank you. And of course, that will only be available for our subscribers. Those of you that pay a monthly fee.
We could actually do that, but we won't.
But we won't.
Well, what we'll do is
we'll just leave the cliffhanger.
season season 1 will be
cliffhanger.
free, but the clip season 2. There you go. So
Oh dear.
so now that it's out there, we'll make this a reality in the coming months.
Possibly. No guarantees.
Possibly.
Your home
No
may be at
guarantees.
risk.
Nothing's written in stone, but I think now that it's out there, it'll happen.
It's going to be out there on the interwebs.
It'll be
Yes.
out there.
So tune in next time for the next exciting episode of, well, we don't know yet, whatever it is.
Or for the next update on the most exciting episode of when it will be coming. Tip jar at paypal.me/audiopizza.
PayPal.me/audiopizza. I had a cookie pop up first, except you might not get that. And then just arrow down.
Yes, paypal.me/audiopizza.
And of course, only if you feel like it.
If you can be bothered.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be.
Nah, it's up to you.
I wouldn't be bothered either
No. But please do.
because it was free, and now you have to pay for it. No, this is fine. This is shareware. That's the difference. We're not making you pay. All right. Well, thank you for this March Madness, and it was definitely maddening for us and probably you too. So we'll see you next month. And if you want to reach us, you can send an email to sgk@theblind.ninja.
sgk@theblind.ninja.
That's sgk@theblind.ninja. Let us know your suggestions, your ideas for some weird sci-fi murder mystery Sherlock Holmes Star Trek sitcom radio drama
I want a mashup.
of everything.
A science fiction murder mystery. Yeah.
Okay, Paul Temple in space.
Okay.
We'll make it happen.
Make it so, number one.
Recording.
Session started.
Oh God, you got to be the odd one out, haven't you?
That's what it says. It
I
says
don't care what
session
it
started.
says. What do we say as a group, as a collective?
Session started.
No, we say recording.
All right.
I say that's coffee's nice. Right.
Okay, we'll do the little pre-intro, and then do, and then stuff like that. Sounds good?
Sounds beautiful. 3, 2. What? 3, 2, 1. Cue Kayaker.
Hello, welcome to some March Madness in Audio Pizza Land. Yes, it's March. Yes, it's madness, but no college football. Sorry, college basketball. No college sports at all. But we're mad, and you're going to hear it all about it next on Audio Pizza. All right, can I do that over?
I reckon you probably can.